your faith restored after a win over the Giants, considering that 35 minutes ago you wanted to become an Eagles fan?
No. I'm still with the Pack. But it's like the Ravens. Like, no, I'll take the W, but they have to keep improving. Now, I do think J-Lo played well. We saw the game-winning pass, perfect placement, great catch by Christian Watson. But yesterday, I mean, you look at his numbers, 13 for 24. They had 7 drops. 7 drops by the receivers. I'm not even counting the ones by the defensive backs. They should have had like 3 or 4 interceptions. I'm about to call Brian Gutekunst and tell him get Greg Jennings back on that roster. And bring your broadcasting mentor with you too. You know? No, but they were dropping balls left and right. And look, I still feel like the Packers have the ability to get to the Super Bowl. This is what I mean. I mixed it up. The Lions' schedule is not
as tough. Oh, you're talking about the Packers.
Look at the Packers. Their schedule is a monster. Because I don't consider Minnesota like a gimme. I mean, they're not as good as some of these other teams. Right. Division. You got
KW
2 against Minnesota. You got 2 with Chicago.
I don't think Minnesota or Chicago is good.
Chicago's 7-3. Okay, I'm just saying. Right. And you got Denver and Baltimore and Detroit.
Okay.
So, like, they got their – look, on the good side is that Chicago is a team you're fighting with for playoff position. Yep. So you got a chance to control that. Same with Detroit. But their schedule is really tough.
You really can cement yourself as the show's Packers guy.
I've been with J.O.
Brew wants KW.
No, I don't.
He wants out. He wants out.
No, I do not.
Again, as Wild said on Friday, you talk about the Ravens with such vigor and passion.
Well, they're my main pick.
I understand. But this team's 6-3-1. The Ravens are, and you're like, it's like,
The Packers haven't looked good since week 2.
Yeah.
And maybe, look, we know the Commanders aren't as good as we thought.
So maybe just
really
week
haven't looked good since week 1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is.
But I'm with them. I'm with them.
So, look, man, I don't need my faith to be restored. There was nothing wrong with my faith in this team. As long as they have Jordan Love, I recognize that they haven't had the same ability to run the football as they did last year. I recognize that. My eyes don't lie to me. What I do realize is Matt LaFleur is going to have to make a decision and say, Jordan, receivers, we need you to win games, period. I don't care who's available, who's not available. Their season is aligning very similarly, oddly enough, just like ours did when we won it in 2010. Like the injuries, the quarterback just depending on the receiver play, not really having the run game. Josh Jacobs gets hurt, Ryan Grant got hurt, Jermichael Finley got hurt, obviously Tucker Kraft gets hurt. They're going to need more out of Jordan Love and these receivers. You talk about those drops, we can't have that. They have to be better for their quarterback. I think that they will. And more importantly, probably even that side of the ball, defensively, they cannot continue to give up so much yardage. I know they're not allowing a lot of points at times, but just allowing teams to build confidence like the Giants, like you did and provided for the Giants and that Jameis Winston-led team, like you can't keep doing that. When you have the talent that you have on that defense, you got to close these games out and help your offense out.
What are the Steelers going to do with an injury?
Well, we're not talking about the Steelers. We're talking about the Packers. This is a tricky game to draw any conclusions because it's the Giants. You get a new coach bump. You have Jameis Winston, who has moments where he looks like the greatest quarterback you've ever seen and one of the worst quarterbacks you've ever seen. And you're like, is this guy even serious? So, like, you know, defensively, it's like, I don't know. What conclusions are you going to draw there? And offensively, they are working with some issues and working with some injuries and O-line issues and run game issues and Tucker Kraft issues. And, you know, I mean, I think Jordan Love is a great quarterback. And I always say that there's not a single throw that Jordan Love can't make. So, and it's not a matter of needing faith to be restored, kind of like what Greg is saying. And it is interesting because this is definitely now just one of my repetitive takes that I keep having this year, is that it just really, and I actually kind of, I think I pretty much started it with the Packers and the Eagles when they played each other, that it's just like, the season is so crazy, the way how these games are unfolding, that like, what does look great even mean? You know, they said, oh, the Packers haven't looked great since week whatever. And it's like, but what is it? I don't know what that even means at this point right now. Because what team consistently is just looking good week after week after week after week? What team? It's not the Eagles. It's not the Rams. Not the Seahawks. Not the Bears. Not the Lions, if I didn't already say them. Not the Chiefs. Not the Bills. Not the Bucks. I just name all the teams. Like, what team are you just like, yep, consistently, you know, they're getting it done week after week after week. Even just one side of the ball. You can't say that. The Eagles got torched by Jackson Dart and the New York Giants defensively. And then another game defensively, they shut down the high-powered Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, 1 minute, they're hanging 30-plus points on the Dallas Cowboys. Not a great defense, fine. But then they look like they can barely move the ball against the Cardinals, the Panther, you know, whoever. And you're like, okay, this defense is elite. This defense is shutting down everyone. They gave up 1 million points against the Dallas Cowboys. So we say, oh, they have a good offense. And it's like, yeah, I mean, sure, but the Cardinals shut down Dak Prescott, and that was a healthier team. That was a healthier Dallas Cowboys. With CD Lamb, you didn't even have to face CD. So, and again, that's not a knock on the Packers right now. I'm just saying that, like, everything's kind of like a little goofy. And to a degree, every football season is like that. Every team has these just, I don't know how we make sense of this game. Or, I don't know, we have this elite defense, but then we somehow gave up 30-some points to, you know, Kirk Cousins. And you're just like, what does that mean? And I think at this point, what matters most is just really understanding how to win games and make the plays. And again, I don't mean to kind of just keep repeating myself, but like, again, you can say that about every team and every season. But right now, is there any sense of how a game will unfold? If the Eagles and the Packers play each other in the NFC Championship game, does anyone have any degree of confidence what type of game that will be? Will it be another 3-0? Will it be a high-powered shootout? Anyone who has any confidence in that, I'm sorry, you're just making it up. And if you get it right, you're just lucky. But like, that's how people thought the Eagles and the Lions game was going to look like? No. That's how you thought the Packers-Giants game was going to look like? No. That's how you thought the Chiefs and the Broncos game was going to look like? No. Like, that's how you thought the Bills and the Bucks game was going to look like? The Seahawks and the Rams? No. These games have all been played like in ways where you're just like, man, I don't know what the heck to expect. And that's why I kept emphasizing, like, and it's awesome because you have no idea what to expect. If you said the Packers and the Eagles were playing each other, NFC Championship game in a dome, just perfect weather, what does that game look like? And it's like, I got no idea, man. I got no idea. I don't know. Is it a 30-plus point shootout? Is it a defensive stance? Every team is just happy with field goals. It's 12-6. Like, I had no idea. Zero. None. Against one of the best defenses, the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts is throwing for 360 yards and a perfect passer rating against Brian Flores, who's shutting down Lamar Jackson, Caleb. I mean, he's shutting down everyone. Jalen Hurts, this offense that hadn't been great, steps up and says, we got it. The Green Bay Packers, who in theory are supposed to have a better offense than the Philadelphia Eagles, did not look like the better offense against the New York Giants. And a division rival, the New York Giants understand the Eagles better. Jalen Hurts said, I don't care. Devontae was eating. Saquon was eating. So it's just like, everything is just like, I don't know, it feels like take a random board game and you're just taking all the pieces and you're like, you want to play this game? And your friend's like, sure, let's do it. And you're just like, okay, great. And you just throw it in the air and the board's going everywhere. The pieces are going everywhere. The dice, the chips, like everything. And you're like, all right, let's play. And your friend's like, what did you just do? Why don't you just put it on the table? And you're like, nah, man, we're playing the new way now. We're playing the 2025 way. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like, I don't know. Everything is just, by definition, thrown in the air. It's crazy to me. It really is. It's awesome as a fan, but it's just like, because all these questions right now are like, do you believe? That's what this whole show has been today. It's, do you have more or less faith in the Eagles? More or less faith in the Broncos? Panic time for the Chiefs? Like, everything is just like, how do you feel about this team? More or less faith in the Ravens? What did this win tell you about the Bills? And honestly, my answers for all of them are just like, I don't know, man. And I think that's the honest answer. I really do. I think that's the honest answer, which people don't always want to hear. They want the emphatic, the Packers show that they can find ways to win, that Jordan Love is a top quarterback. Like, I get it, but I don't think that's the take. I think one of the most defining takes this weekend was actually Josh Allen's greatness and Bo Nix's ability to like play big in a big time game, which is important when you're a young quarterback. Like, I don't need to learn that about Jordan Love right now. So like, there's just different things to learn, and not to mention like the Packers, you have pretty high expectations for them. They've been around the block once or twice. They have the experienced quarterback. They have the experienced coach. Their roster is young, but it has experience now, and so you're just like, you know, if the Packers beat the Chiefs, I wouldn't have been like, that shows you that Jordan Love can do it. I'm like, I should hope so. You know, he's not a second-year quarterback. This isn't his second year, right? Like, it's like, I hope so. I believe he's great enough to be able to do those. So, you know, in terms of faith being restored or not, and it's just like, I kind of feel the exact same way. I feel like every single team can win and every single team can lose. I'm like so uncomfortable trying to lead. You know, Bryce Young's throwing the ball has like 500 passing yards or whatever. It's just like, what do you do with that? I don't know. Like, what? Josh Allen couldn't do nothing against the Falcons. Bryce Young looking like Tom Brady out there in a Super Bowl. You're like, what is going on? How do you make sense of that? I'm telling you, how do you make sense of that? That Mac Jones has better numbers than Patrick Mahomes. How do you make sense of that? How do you make sense of it? I don't know. I'd love to hear how you guys make sense of it. I can't. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.